I think they did a great job this season so far. Couple things. I'm going to talk about, everybody here familiar with the diner over here at the top of the morning, okay? Come out at the top of the morning, you're going to see it up on Trenton Road, going past Franco's, 3 houses up. There's a vacant, there's empty building, okay? And the gentleman there was a very nice gentleman, wants to put a car wash.
Oh,
Okay.
oh,
Okay.
Dark one's one.
All right, so hang on a second. So it's a very good idea, and he's a very good man. The problem, it went in front of the zoning, and I requested a public hearing, so you guys could, I'll talk about it, but he's actually, he's holding off on it. What he wanted to do was go in on Trenton Road, and he wanted you to exit on the backside of, in the 3-laner there, and city engineering, myself, some people in the area called and complained about it. So he is doing a car wash possibly, but you would go in and circle around and come right out on that side. Because you can't go out on that 3-laner there, it's right. You have a flashing light coming around, and you'd be coming right out there in the morning. The early hours and rush hour at nighttime, it's very, very busy, and it just wasn't a good idea. I wanted to talk to all you guys about it first, but he actually is, he's in Florida, and it's on hold right now. Down the road, it could be something there. That's going on. What's that?
I think it's a good idea. Lost Cliffs, it was a
Yeah.
big.
The only problem that could be, if we all live in the North Ithaca, you know how the traffic is by Franco's, there's
Yeah.
cars there.
Yes.
You go to the car wash down the road over here, the cars are backed up on Route 49.
Yeah.
It's a very, very tight area.
Yeah.
It could be a bottleneck, there could be, some issues, but he's not a fly-by-night person. Whatever he does is good. What he really wants to do is purchase the house next door to it, and that would open it up. That's, I think, the people that, I think it's Pat and Drea's own it, and I think they want an extravagant amount of money, so that's probably not. Next thing is, last council meeting, I passed a resolution requesting governor for a little more help for our hospitals, not the N.U.N.A hospital, so I don't want to get on there about N.U.N.A. It's about all hospitals in general in New York State. As far as the waiting times in emergency rooms, and it's been a tough year for me. Like I said, I lost my mom, I lost my father-in-law. I take care of an 85-year-old stepfather. We took him on New Year's Eve. Took him by ambulance, got to the hospital. We sat for 2.5 hours and talked to the guy. He says, we're at full staff. They have 60 rooms, for example, over there. They have staff to operate 30. So my suggestion was, when my mom was in the nursing home and all during the pandemic, they had National Guards and medics would help fill it. They specialize in triage, and it was just a suggestion, and it's, as far as that goes, my father-in-law, he got rushed, had to go to Albany Med. He sat 15 hours before his surgery. There's certain people don't want to go, they go to upstate, they sit there too. So it's a problem right through the state. Our medical system, in my opinion, is kind of broken. It's not really working right now. So it's just an idea where if you need 50 people to operate an emergency room on a weekend and you got 35, let's bring some people in. So the smaller stuff, your stitches, your broken arm, or something that's not, like a heart attack or something there, these people can take you and work on it, Okay, obviously coming up this next month, we're going to be getting into the budget season. I know that at our next meeting, we'll probably be getting the budget on the second meeting of the month. First meeting, we'll probably go over city audit and see what everything happens there. And, other than that, you guys got any questions for me or whatever? I'd love to answer. Hang on, shoes up first. What's up, Lucia?
Isn't this election year
It is,
for you?
yeah.
And who else?
Everybody in the city, is a little.
Except
And
mayor,
I'm-
council. Except mayor.
Yes,
You gonna run again, Joe?
I am not.
Okay.
Thank you. No, yeah.
That's all
I
I'm
didn't hear her question, what was
And
it?
she's asked if it was election year this year.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
Big lots of places.
I know I was just talking to somebody tonight, so across the street there, the Americube is going in there. And I guess they were explaining to me tonight that at the other end of that plaza by, where the,
Parkway Drugs.
yeah, where Parkway Drugs is, I believe Americube, from what I'm being told tonight, is putting their drive-through,
It's already there.
yeah,
It's there, yes.
they're putting that in over.
So they're moving to North.
No, they're moving from North Genesee
Genesee.
to
North
next the building next to the American Legion. Yeah. But as far as what's going to Big Lots, I can't tell you that. I don't,
So,
I know they are closed.
you know, in the hospitals, there's an awful lot of agency nurses working in the hospitals. And my
So,
daughter
Mrs.
works
Warden.
there, and there's a lot of agency nurses that they brought in.
So there's 75%, almost 70% of that, but that's through the whole state of New York. So it's not, that's where the whole issue is. There is a lot of people there, there's traveling nurses there. They do have a program now at St. Ames where if you go to school there, you will be, and you sign on for 2 years for nurses. But the problem is you're getting a lot of young nurses with no experience, so you need help. But it's not just nurses, it's doctors also. So,
Doctors too.
doctors.
Yeah, I'm sure the doctors are traveling too.
Right. But when I wrote that legislation, the chief organization officer called me, was very glad I did that. And I told him, in my opinion, what the hospital should do is every person that leaves that hospital should fill out an exit interview, okay? And they should be published on Wednesday and on Sunday in the Rome Sentinel, because that's the official paper now. And they should put it in online also, because you know what, everybody, no matter where that hospital, if you liked it, you didn't, where you wanted, problems they're having there, they built it in New Hartford, it was gonna be there. The hospital's here, and I take it personal as a city official, I wanna see it be better, and they need to do a lot of stuff better, but you know what, it's here, and it cleaned up a lot of what was down there, it just needs to get better, it's a new organization, it needs to get better, and quite frankly, it really bothers me when everybody gets trashed, when everybody trashes it, and listen, that's a mortality business, and people are gonna have bad experiences and good experiences, but I think you should put it out there, and I know, very close person was a councilman with me, okay? He was in there, got rushed there, put 2 stents in, they saved him. There's a lot of good stuff that happens, and there's a lot of bad stuff. Put it out there, let the people judge, because instead, you're hearing, like I just told you, 2 of my friends. Their wife wouldn't go there, I'm not going to win. They went to upstate, they sat there for 5 hours. It's the same situation, so, and it just needs to be fixed. The health system in our country since the pandemic, it ain't just even New York, it's broke. And it needs to be fixed, and it's, you know.
We have the biggest films in the world.
Right.
Yeah, Joe, one thing for, DHS, I've been a patient there. You do get an exit there. You get an exit.
Right, but they don't publish.
Well, that's their decision.
That's what I'm saying, that's
for
what they
their
need to do.
But I would go even further. There were problems at St. Luke's and St. Elizabeth's
Listen,
long ago.
I'll tell you, I didn't really want to get into all this, because that's not what I'm talking about, but you're right. So you look at that hospital right there, there's 60 beds, it's like a whole hospital in the emergency room. There's 47 beds, ER beds, there's 10 special, 10 observation rooms, and there's 3 special rooms. You know how many beds you had at St. Elizabeth's and St. Luke's? You had about 35. They were lined up in the hallways. You had the same exact problems that you're having there, except, you know what? No hospital downtown gets the publicity. They put it out there. You know what? There's a lot of those people had buildings that were worth $10,000, $15,000. They held on, and got hundreds of thousands, and they're the same people trashing it. So that's why I take it a little bit personal. I'm not saying they're right, because they've done a ton of terrible things. So I'm just saying it's not just here, it's not the problem, it's all over. Yes.
And Oneida Health is expanding, and I'm sure that you are going to say something about that, because Oneida County donated quite a bit of money to Oneida Health. You're aware of that?
Roll
Was it Roma?
Roma.
Excuse me,
And,
it's Oneida Health.
and listen to Oneida Health, all that, when it came to diversion, those hospitals were on diversion.
St. Joseph's is in Oneida Health.
Oh, yes, well,
But look, a lot of the businesses, they don't put the sidewalks
so,
and the bridges over both the canal and North River. The sidewalks aren't put at all.
so just, I'm glad you brought that up. So just so you know, storms the last 2 or 3 weeks ago, you guys probably don't realize it, but Codes was out sending tickets to the houses. Don't, like, for example, Herkimer Road, a lot of it is landlords and people rent a lot of those houses. Okay, I know I walk there in the mornings, okay? The main thing is we went through, and I went back to the codes department. I walked by, there was no excuse for the sidewalks in front of Burger King, no excuse for the sidewalks in front of, Aldi's. It's terrible. So they went, they were cited, and what that means is they got 2 weeks to, you know, that's the problem with snow is that's how the code goes. It takes 10 days to 2 weeks. By that time, the snow is melting. You know what I'm saying? And that's like in the summertime when they cite people for high grass. Okay, it takes 10 days. They got to cut it. If they don't cut it, the city comes and it adds to your tax bill. So I understand that. The bridges are just the states, but it's a problem. You know, it's even. See up top by, past the harbor there where they redid all that road. We came up there, we take care of that in the city. We do have equipment to plow the top of it, but it's a problem. People, you know, people don't follow up on it. And, I think a lot of it, the last, couple years, we didn't get too much snow, so nobody realized it. It's worse, you know, it was worse this year.
But also, how do the new homeowners know that they're supposed to be signed?
How do the new homeowners?
Well, next door to me.
Well, so just so you would know, so next door to you,
It's brand new.
okay, so when a person comes, and if they got cited because they didn't shovel it one time, they got 2 weeks to shovel it, so going forward, they would know.
Thank God, you know, that's all, I just want to
Yeah,
know.
yeah, and it's a warranty, it's not like they're coming in and say, okay, we're gonna find you whatever.
No, I didn't know how they would find
Yeah,
out all these
right.
people. It's all the way down Trenton.
It is,
Lot of-
all the way down. We used to
Right.
walk it every day.
I know.
So I just wanted to mention one thing about Rowan Hospital is doing very well. The St. Joseph's adding on that new building, and they have neuro. We used to think of Rowan Hospital as a community hospital, and I did. But now they've got Dr. Kenda there, he's neurosurgery, and he does beautiful work. And his wife's a doctor also, but I'm just using that as an
He's
example
at
of
Warren
Rowan
also.
Hospital. You have to go there. It's really come up in the world with St. Joseph's merging with them. They're putting that new addition, that new building up for ICU and so on. And I'm very proud and happy for that, and I'm not even.
And you know what? You can have all the additions you want, you have
We
the
don't have
best
nurses.
facility around, if you don't have the doctors and nurses to take care of it, you're in trouble. Hey, he's at Utica too, he's at Wendy.
Yes, he's excellent, by
Oh.
the way. I
Any,
have a grandson.
anybody else? Yes. No, thank you guys. Remember, you guys, everybody knows, know how to get a hold of me. You call me anytime, and I'll make sure I take care of whatever I can. Like I always say, I can't promise you I'm gonna fix it, but I can promise you I'll call you back. Okay?
We appreciate it. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Joe.
Okay.
Thank you, Joe. Well, we heard a little bit about North Utica. Let's hear a little bit about the rest of the city. We have the mayor's chief of staff, Mike Gentile.
I know. Well, now you can talk about the county.
Right, come on. We'll talk county legislator stuff. I just wanted to make a point off of what Joe said. We don't have the same luxury with like the snow removal that we do, like tall grass and stuff in the summer, where we can go and abate it and then put it on the deck like we do with grass. So the snow is really a difficult thing to do, especially, this is, like he said, 3 days of snow, but this is also the first time in a while that 2 weeks, 3 weeks of cold too, so, the snow removal is a difficult thing, we have a lot. Same thing with anything else, if you contact the mayor's office, either through the 311 app or just the mayor of City of Utica. You know, we do our best to do the extra stuff once we do our regular routes and everything. If there's other places we can hit and make it easier for a thoroughfare, we definitely, do that as much as possible. Do you have a question? First?
And if you find the sidewalk, get injured, it's the homeowner,
Yeah,
not the city.
I mean, it all depends on, if obviously if it's the homeowner's responsibility, it'll be,
Just, you know,
a good attorney will sue everybody, so,
Fox up to
Right, so, other than that, the other city stuff that Joe touched on was really just the fact that, we're in budget season, so we're working hard on that. The audit that he discussed is scheduled to be, discussed on the 19th meeting with, because that's, the audit company, the company that does the audit, that's when they're gonna present their findings and everything else, so. But that's pretty much city, it's actually kind of interesting, because the county, has a January to December 31st budget, and then the city has so they close up their budget, and then the city starts up their budget. And then, of course, the state is on the same calendar as the city, which can be kind of stressful as they're debating, funding streams that affect the city budget as well. The governor just did her budget address. It does look like the additional AIM funding that the city, the mayor and council advocated for is in this budget. It's still not nearly what it should be. But at least that temporary, it looks like it's gonna be extended for another year, so that is a bonus for us. And then to segue to the county, 3.2 million, 3.2 for the improvements at N.U.N.A Field. That's gonna be lighting, turf, and everything else, so that facility is gonna turn into, a facility that we're utilizing really March through October, November, which before it was more like end of April to September. So really will expand the opportunities for baseball there. It'll give us opportunity for more events, more long-term things, and also because it'll be turf, you can do more than just baseball there too. So that won't just be a baseball facility, you can expand it to other things. Really a necessity for the long-term success of baseball in this area, so something I'm excited about. The other funding we just approved was up at the zoo, another $100,000 at the zoo, to go along with some of the other efforts there, which that's, constantly evolving thing. It's a great resource for the city of Utica and something we have supported and continue to support. So, good that we're able to do that as well.
Yeah, I'm gonna add
to that pertaining to the zoo. They came to our Ways and Means Committee on chairperson. Was pretty frank about this.
A little more, would you please?
You're talking to the microphone.
Turn it off.
I interject when the zoo came to our committee, which is Ways and Means, explaining why there was a need for additional funding. You gotta understand, we give them 300,000. We have to give them 300,000 every year. They needed additional money, I believe, to make payroll. The problem with the zoo, and I've been a member for years, I love the zoo. And I was pretty frank, wasn't I? Gotta have more animals. The entrance in the gift shop is beautiful now. I don't know if anybody's been there
Yes,
recently.
yes.
It's beautiful. But when people walk through, they have a whole section without any animals. And that's what you need. You do need the animals. The explanation to me was the cost for the animals is very, very high. They're looking for additional funding to put more animals in that zoo. And that's what you need to drive attendance to revenue.
That's how we lost the seals, right?
Yeah. There's issues there that we've said for years. I voted, and Mike voted, the legislative body voted for an additional 100,000. But they can't keep coming to us for additional money beyond the 300,000. A couple things came up just earlier with Joe. Diversion of hospital patients. Recently, there's been a lot of respiratory, COVID, and stomach. You know, my family went through a lot of it. A lot of hospitals, not just our local hospital, had patients diverted to any hospitals that had openings. So just a Utica hospital thing, it was across the state. Things have calmed down recently, but it was tough for a while. And that's why you saw that diversion. All right?
So just on that, so my dad fell in Herkimer, he was brought to Rome Hospital. They had to admit him, he was, the closest hospital was Albany. That was even, you know, so, I mean, it was the same thing, even your smaller hospitals were in the same, bigger hospitals were in the same boat. And even Albany Med was, you know, kind of touch and go, it's, you know, kind of the timing thing there, definitely.
Try to be really quick.
That, now, how many ambulances does Kunkel have though? Enough, because they had to transport to Albany, then they have to sit and wait.
Yeah, I'm not sure what,
That's the problem.
yeah, and we're running into that too. A lot of the fire department is getting
They
bogged
have to
down,
sit and wait.
you know, because they're sitting, absolutely. They're not able to just drop off and move on to their next thing.
And you can't.
And a lot of, yep, absolutely. It's a huge issue.
What I understand is, you know, not trashing one hospital. And you did say something about St. Elizabeth, when your sister Rose Benson was at the hospital, I happen to know for a fact she did an amazing job in that hospital, run right to the T. But anyway, so one hospital's downtown, okay, but they are not doing heart surgery. They've been open since October last year. Well, Whippy finally, here we have a hospital and they're not even operating on your, what the hell?
We're not here to defend them because they
No, I know, no, I
they
know.
had a lot of problems there.
I know, I'm just saying, it just blows my mind to think that
It's sad.
it's a hospital.
Yeah. They've had problems. That's why they were shut
You know
down.
what the problems are? The administration.
You might be right, but yeah.
Norovirus,
More.
those are cases that should be going to urgent care. Why can't these people be urgent care?
Bring people to the hospital.
And that's absolutely a lot of the education, even, so emergency services from 911 also just put out something that was just kind of this is when you go to urgent care, this is when you go to the emergency room, this is when you stay home and drink orange juice and get over it. It's like, it's a lot of that. Everything's getting bogged down, and everybody wants that instant gratification. But also I've heard a lot of it is people don't have primary doctors like they used to. They're relying on urgent care for their primary doctor. So instead of making that phone call, getting an antibiotic from the primary doctor, they're now going to urgent care. Now urgent care is getting back down, and people get to the level of being in pain, and they're trying to turn somewhere, and then they end up in the emergency room because they want that instant gratification. So it's an issue kind of across the board. And I just went through the process of finding a new primary care, and it's difficult. It's very difficult.
Away from the hospital. Last year, the governor brought up the idea of switching election years, moving all the elections so that they would coincide statewide elections and national elections. Talk that you would have to have a short term, the county executive the next time they came up. And you two, as county legislators might have to run a very short term and then run again the following year. So has there been any movement on that at the state level? Because from what I understood, she had to get that by the state legislature.
Yeah, right now, I believe the latest update that a court ruled that it couldn't happen through a lawsuit that's with Onondaga County, United County, and several other counties. So right now, it looks like it's in the clear, but it's still something that the governor is fighting for. I personally, so I think it would be terrible. I think we're already getting, too much on with the state races, and I think the local races deserve their own attention. It shouldn't be on that, so.
Yeah,
Anyway,
pretty much already there.
As far as that issue, it did go to court. There were a few county executives, I believe the county executive from Syracuse led the charge because most counties, and we're a charter county, believe in home rule. We wanted it how it works best for our county. So we won in a court ruling, but I believe Governor Hochul has appealed that. And I don't think there's a decision as of yet, unless something happens. So we'll have to see how it goes. We're on 2-year terms, but if it did happen, we'd have to run for a 1-year term and then revert back to 2 years and 2 years.
How much would that cost
that's right.
to do? What does it cost us normally for an election?
Well, this year's budget for Board of Elections is $4.2 million. So it would be, I believe it'd be more cost because we have to have the elections every November.
Right.
We have the primary. It's just, there'd be too many races, propositions. It seems like it has worked. That's the feeling of the county. It's home rule. We want to dictate.
I thought one of the more interesting things when they were talking about it was they brought in a sample ballot to put all the local in the same manner. All this long, so.
I do have a few things. December was the date that we had to basically identify projects for ARPA. ARPA is the COVID, it's the America Rescue Act plan. And basically what it did is gave money to municipalities, cities, and counties to spend money coming out of COVID to take care of issues and needs, because everything, the devastation with businesses and different municipalities and governments, when we came out of COVID, it was two tough years for a lot of people. Obviously, we lost a lot of citizens, unfortunately. Oneida County had $46.4 million allotted to us. How did Utica do? Do you know how Utica itself, Utica proper did with that funding? Well, no, I'm saying out of the county funds. Yeah, Utica got over 60 million. The county got 46.4. I'm going to go through the project because Utica did great. And here's the project. I'm going to go really fast. Stop me if you need to. We started out with 10 million towards the garage in Utica, followed it up with another 2 million for the garage, came back with 3.7 million for Nexus, and then West Utica Senior Citizen Center, $500,000. Another 300,000 for Center for Family Life and Recovery. Munson Williams got 200,000. Different projects, okay? Oneida County Historical Society, 100,000. UCP Health Village, 150,000. Landmark Society, 75,000. Sculpture Space, 30,000. Thea Bowman, 200,000. Edge for their reuse study for St. Luke's, which is, I know, in New Hartford, but 600,000. UCP short term, that was Crisis Center, 300. Johnson Park, 150,000. Children's Museum, 500,000. Casa Imports, demolition of a former powerhouse building located at the main distribution facility. Broad Street, that was 250,000. What else we got? We have Bach Acres Incorporated, Utica, 50,000. Four Element Studio Incorporated, Utica, 50,000. Utica Center for Development, Better Together, 150,000. So Utica did well. The legislature, the county executive, got to give the county executive credit. The funding stream, quite a bit of it. Substantial part of that 46.4 million went to Utica property. Well,
They have a very large trust fund.
They do.
you know what? Other people have problems with that. But what has gone on down with Munson is with some of the homeless and drug use, which was an epidemic down there, their security was somewhat compromised. So part of their funding was to shore up their security, lighting.
Tip in the trust
They take pride.
Kind of what it's there for.
All right. Any questions about ARPA, the spending on Utica? Let me get really quick to the budget. We have some red flags going forth for 2025 for the county. We're in pretty good fiscal shape, but there's a couple issues, and I think I mentioned before about them. We have a correctional facility with 220 officers. We have over 80 openings. What that means is our overtime budget goes through the roof. It will probably approach 6 million this year, because you got to fill the spots. You got to have the officers. The other issue is you got these guys, gals working all kinds of overtime, and it burns them out. People don't want to work in a correctional facility. It's a dangerous and difficult job.
And it used to be that overtime was just something expected, kind of that they knew that they could count on a certain amount of overtime each year, but that number has gotten so big that it's like the burnout, like he said, it is really crazy. You know, we get that presentation, I feel like every 3 months or so, and the booklet of the overtime that they're going through is outrageous.
Since I know Vail started downstate, when it became so popular.
No.
No.
In the different states.
Well, not for us. Novell basically reduced our population in our jail, but we still have to have sites manned. If you got a pod, a housing area with 60, whether you have 60 or 42 or 32, population has gone down drastically. You still have to have the same number of posts mandated and people there. So our population, I know at one time was over 500. It's gone down significantly. Part of the reason is exactly what you said. Jail reform. All right. No. Berkeley has a new jail.
I
at
thought they
about-
were bunking here.
Yeah, we've lost that because the borders in. The borders in that we get from jails that are at capacity, we make money because we have space. The problem is many county jails across the state, all kinds of openings, exactly because what you said. bail reform, all right? It's a crisis. It's not only a crisis as far as cost, it's a crisis with hiring throughout the state, not just in United County. So the other issue I'm going to talk about really quickly is the airport. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Well, I'm just thinking about what, this gentleman over here
Yeah.
said. About funds and wings and all that. When you have your meetings, the county.
Yeah.
You don't have open meetings like Utica does.
We have open meetings, yeah.
Public can go?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't know that. So who makes all these decisions? This guy gets 100,000, this company gets 200,000. Who makes all those decisions?
So a lot of the ARPA was driven by, just like in Utica, it's an executive function. For the county, the board will vote to approve, but they were put up by the county executive.
The executive is basically charged by the federal government, Department of Treasury, to basically put forth, that's his responsibility. But we voted, we legislators voted on all the ARPA spending, and we ratified pretty much everything across
It's
the
a
board.
long grant process.
Which in the
right?
city,
You have to write
which in the city, we did not.
what
We
they
did not have any.
want. It's
I'm sorry, you had a question?
it's a grant process where there's many pages to this and it's all detailed and everything, right, before you.
Quarterly, yeah, oh yeah, we get communications, we get a breakdown, sometimes I wish it was a little sooner, and I wish the communication was a little more elaborate, quite honestly, but the last.
But the ARPA wasn't put through a grant process like you typically. The ARPA was very, loose in how you could put that out.
And originally, we thought it was going to be specifically for emergency services, medical. But the third year of this whole thing, we were in other municipalities, we're spending money on. So the use that we originally thought was expanded to pretty much everything. Skate parks, dog parks, you name it.
What are your meetings?
Our meetings, we meet usually the second Thursday, all committees will meet. You can come, listen, you cannot question, you cannot comment. Our full, yeah.
That's committee.
That's committee meetings. The following Wednesday is Ways and Means, where you can come, listen, you cannot comment. The full board follows that at 2:00. It's usually the second or third Wednesday of the month. That's where you, public, can come in, sign up, speak your mind on resolutions on any county issue.
Is that after it's already been passed, though?
Well, I shut out.
Well. Eliminates a lot of people seats.
Well, I gotta say, I'm retired now, been a legislator for 22 years, but for most of my 22 years, I worked, I took time off, I juggled, and I don't think I missed a meeting in 10 years, quite honestly, a full board meeting, and maybe 2 or 3 full boards. So it is, you're right though, certain jobs, it's hard to get.
I will say I have similar arguments and support similar arguments being made for a change, because that same exact thing. It's, somebody works a typical 9 to 5, they're either out of the process of being able to run depending on their job flexibility, or, they teach people. So I 100% understand that.
Well,
What legislature would look like is represented. More, you look around at the legislators, stage of their, most of them, with due respect, look tired, and it's, about those 25-year-olds that want to be a county legislator. So it's, let me just say that I think it's very unique that the Hyde County legislature meets in the middle of compared to other. I haven't done this study, but I can.
I'll tell you, just a comment. Again, I'm debating them.
Yeah.
We tried it. We did try it. There was a time period going back many years, and I was still a legislator, where we had the same thought. if we tried and had, some meetings, actually, some of our meetings at night, our hope was to have more of the public there. We didn't get it. It was disappointing. We thought by going
How
to,
many, I mean,
we tried.
the other thing, I'm at every council meeting, you're at a lot of council meetings, you're at a lot of council meetings, Ron's at all the council meetings. It doesn't extend much further than that, and those are at night. I mean, it's, I wish there was a greater response to all of these meetings. The other thing is even our budget meetings at the county, the one in Rome, how many people showed up?
Public
And it
hearings.
was 6 o'clock at night on a,
But you'll admit this day and age, a lot of meetings are televised.
Yeah,
Guys,
absolutely.
So you could,
That's a good point.
correct,
it's coming from the perspective of who's eligible to serve, not who's
Absolutely.
eligible to serve.
I agree,
That's
totally valid.
You do have the right point though when you say, my husband goes to every single county council meeting in Utica. He's probably one of the only one of, that's there, maybe a few, maybe 5 or 6. I'm just saying, we come, we bitch and we complain, but we don't do anything about it. We
Why don't people go? And I look at it a couple different reasons. First of all, either you're happy with representation or paid, or you're so frustrated based on circumstances in politics, feeling frustrated, you don't think your voice really has a play. So honestly, all the years I've gotten a ton of calls for a lot of different reasons. When somebody calls you a constituent, react, because if you don't, that word gets out there. And you're not a person that's constituent driven. Joe is, he gets a call and some people are,
breakdown.
when you complain and gotta get a response. It might not be the response you want. Paying our salary,
Word of mouth is very important.
very important. And local elections are personal to the municipalities and the district. If you're not friendly and you're not connecting with your constituents, you're not friendly. That's the bottom line. That's enough.
Do you remember further lines that the one against hockey thing?
Oh, yes.
Good. I'm glad you brought that up.
So, the county, he actually has a copy of it's posted online. They do have, a whole book, all the information, what money was spent on, advertising and everything else.
Laws break even?
Let me give you the breakdown. I'll give you, I'm gonna give you what I have, the handout. You can look through it. I gotta say one good thing, this organization that promoted it, they actually came in a little bit under budget. They were given a lot of money. We really spent quite a bit of money, right, Paul? On promoting that event, which was a great event. I'm not sure how many people went. I did. And, but they came in under budget by $75,000. I will give you that. I have it.
Came in under budget, and then just when you look at the breakdown, too, just remember that a lot of the money spent was, some of the stuff for the youth when they went to the games and stuff too. So a lot of it was, money spent that we have experienced, people that wouldn't have had that experience without this money. So it's still one of those things, we talked about it quite a bit. The fact that we were able to do an international tournament that this area could do it. That now you're seeing that we're getting the soccer all-star tournament or game, all-star game. So it's just kind of the ball's rolling and doing a lot more of that stuff. So when you look at the sheet, you can pass it around. You look at the 2 million, it ended up coming under 75,000 under budget. But a lot of the stuff that was provided within it was important. Interesting, obviously we had the lacrosse just after that. What was really cool about the lacrosse tournament though is you saw them walking up and down the streets in Utica, going to their hotel rooms, more in their restaurants, more alternative kind of the day to day, because they were staying right within Utica and the surrounding area instead of for the hockey being bussed back out of the casino. So it was actually kind of interesting, driving down North Genesee Street, and you see a guy with a backpack and sticks just walking to Babe's or walking to Wendy's or wherever they were headed. So it was kind of cool to see that dynamic of, and just that difference of where people stayed, so. And I can have I'll make copies of that sheet and stuff, but all the full booklet is posted online for you to go through, and it breaks down.
On the county website.
Yeah, and it breaks down every dollar they spent, how they spent it, you know, what was the response to that and everything else, so.
And that report was a long time coming. A couple people here mentioned, what's a breakdown? And you guys were absolutely right to do that, but we finally got a nice report, and
I
that's,
think it
we
was
had-
December meeting,
yeah,
which was like,
we had
Rick and
requested it.
I were both commenting. People, so.
Anything else?
Do you have business?
Thank you, guys.
I do.
Wow. We learned a lot about the city and the county today, huh? But we have one more person that wants to speak with us. Nick Bridenbecker is the new city engineer. He's here to discuss a new road assessment program. As everybody realizes, North Utica this year, I believe, had 9 streets. How many? 18 streets,
Well,
Dave.
6th ward.
6th ward. This
More
is
than I
a,
had in 4 years.
I think it's probably more than we've had longer than 4 years. A lot of them really look nice, and this man was in office to help us out. So, everybody, I want you to meet Nick.
All right, good evening. Nick Bridenbecker, city engineer. Yeah. So, yeah, I was part of the paving this year. I was hired by the city in April to take this department over, and for this season, I let the paving happen as normally. I had oversight, I had direction, I dealt with problems. We got the service place extension road completely rebuilt, as it was failing. And it didn't seem right to put just another layer over the top. So we completely rebuilt. So that's good. From what I experienced, some things we realized maybe we could be a little more efficient with. And some things are just the nature of the beast, right? As we've learned. So, being more efficient. We hired the mayor, and I discussed it. My team discussed it. So we brought in Michelin Robotics, which is it started as Robotics like 4 years ago, and then they were bought out by Michelin entirely. It's an AI generated intelligence, but they use it nationwide. Many big people, including the county, now are starting to use it for their road assessments. So the grades on 1 to 5, 5 being the worst, 1 being the best. Overall, our city sits at a 2.6 in for volume of good roads or bad roads, however, glass half full, not glass half empty. So 2.63 is what it rates. A lot of people disagree with that. All I can say is that's why we put it out, right? So now everybody can look at their road, gauge their road against a different road in the city to see, how bad it stacks up. There's no denying that there are some roads that are very, very bad. And there are some that are marginal. So we're taking this data for this next paving season and kind of breaking it down, analyzing it. There are things that we can do to save the roads. So if it's a 4 or a 3, it's marginally on the decay side, right? As we'll say, we do small measures like crack seam filling. That'll stop the water from penetrating. That'll help from degrading the road, right? Obviously, there's pothole fixing. I mean, that goes without saying. But also, chasing down the Water Authority and National Grid, who are our two biggest culprits. They'll cut a road just as soon as we put it down. And not that they're being vicious about it. How do you know when the water's gonna collapse, a pipe's gonna collapse underneath it? It just seems to be happening after we've rumbled it and gone over it, that's when the road falls out. The infrastructure, right? So there are measures that we've been taking also to combat that. Like, this year, all the roads that we knew we had to be on, we notified the Water Authority about it. They're doing exploratory for lead change out for their Ts. So we figured, let's bring them to the table with us. When we open the road, they can get in and explore, then we'll close the road, right? So we're working with them closely on that. What we're doing right now, like I said, is just taking all of the data that came at us. We're starting the worst roads to the best roads, very objectively looking at the paving in that. However, there are metrics that have to go into that. If it's a 5 scale road, if there's one house on it, it's dead end. Does that road go before a house that has 5 houses and it's a busy traffic, right? I mean, there's metrics, there's some weighting that we have to do. But we're objectively going at it. All the bad roads being number 5s, all the good roads, working our way down. And then anything that's a 4 or 3, we're putting out contracts this year for micro paving, which is what we did on her road, on the farther side of Herkimer Road, which is very smooth. You'll notice if you're driving that and you transfer over, you notice the difference in the road. So we're doing a little more micro paving this year, doing crack seam fill, and we're gonna try to keep our inventory up to date, or at least get another 5 years out, hopefully 3 years, then we can buy. And then handle all the fines accordingly, which you can, I don't know if you know, you can go on paving.utica.com and view the application that we posted there. Or you can go right to the website, utica.com, cityofutica.com. Yeah. And then up in the maps, click on the tab, follow your way through, it'll bring you right to the assessment. So it's visible, it's active. We're welcoming everybody to explore it, do your own grading, and I love comment. I would rather you than, at least I know you're involved. So that I wanted to discuss a little bit, and then also we're doing a solar initiative, which is just an energy saving initiative. You can get 10% of your electricity if, by signing up. I left paperwork on the table for you. You don't get solar panels on your house. It's not that kind of a thing. We've partnered with a co-op that is collecting the energy and then dispersing it out. So you'll get like a discount on your national bill. It's not, you won't get solar panels directly. It's really just transferring the savings across, just straight onto just by signing up. So we're hoping that
Still will be under the grid, right?
you're still under the grid.
Okay.
Yeah, 100%. This is like, you guys have seen people walk the neighborhood, knock on the doors, selling energy or something. It's not that. It's the concept of the discount, or some sort of a discount, I should say. And the way we're getting it is from solar energy, not in this area, of course, out of the area, but we're part of a co-op. So everybody's kind of getting a little bit of the juice. I just wanted to report those 2 things, and does anybody have questions? I'd be happy to answer them. If not, I left a bunch of business cards, so you can always contact me. And as Joe could validate, I'm very responsive. Answer your call. I'll tell you the wrong answer if you don't want to hear it. I'm responsive. So, nobody good? Any questions?
Is anybody in this room solar?
Joe, you want to take it?
I don't have that answer. I can find out what's about.
Inside for solar, they asked you wanting solar panels?
No. The mayor did send something out.
Okay, that's what I did. What's that got?
Well, if it's solar energy, then we're.
Actually, it's over range, you got nothing to lose.
That's what I figured. Nothing.
Another item.
Okay, folks, like I was telling you earlier, our 50-50 raffle money, what we do with it. Well, we got a raffle tonight. The winners get $23. Your ticket number is 512740. We got the winner. More than a winner. She's also our next guest speaker. Sweet treats. So let's all give a warm welcome to Vanessa.
Oh, now we got $46.
There you go. Hello, everyone. Sweeter in here. That is my kitty back there. I made samples. I opened this louder and that thing, and you turn it off. How about this? Is it better?
Yeah.
Okay. I started my business in 2018, chocolate. There's a lot of bakers around here. There's a lot of pastry chocolate. I did chocolate. So anything you wanted in chocolate, I did in chocolate. And I grew up here in North Utica. Born, raised, married, live here now, raised my children here. And having is trying to find a local place here in North Utica. Expand my business. So if you guys ever see any spaces, if you guys, please let Lucille know, she knows how to get a hold of me. I'm trying to get it. There's only one other chocolate place that used to be on Barrow Street. They've now moved to the no. So this is the time. So I did, like I said, I got a chance to samples. Please help yourself after all this. I'm gonna share a paper with it tonight. So if you want to save it till morning. That's pretty much it. I just wanted to bring stuff in, let you guys try it, and thank you for having me here and giving me this opportunity.
So everybody, if you're looking for a small place.
Where are you gonna go? Any ideas at all yet? I'm looking in North Utica. There is a spot next to Big Lots. I just don't know now what's gonna happen with Big Lots. There used to be a nail salon there.
Is that there anymore?
I leave.
Yeah.
Not there all the time. I just need tiny. I don't need a huge. I don't need a huge space. I work, literally, I don't need an oven. I work with anything chocolate. It's crock pies. So, I just need a little tiny space, a little rich front, and that's it. My lease is perfect because it's teeny and tiny. But I'm having a hard time securing the rent on it. It's a little.
A lot of money.
Have you looked? Probably don't, well, I call it. Go ahead, John.
The one where camera, where we're buried in the stainless steel. Yes. Big, if he would be willing to split it, because he's got offices in the back, so if he was willing to split it, it might, it could possibly work. I did look in there. They wanted, yes, with the dentist or medical. They want to keep it office space. They want to have an office and insurance. So that's what I'm running into.
Vanessa, I have a question. Are you gonna make, like, are you gonna make everything at home and then bring it to your location?
I would make it at the location, everything would be
You
done.
make everything right there.
Let you guys know I exist, I'm not doing it.
She possibly go into a pizza place and take care of it, because she only needs a small area. But I don't know what the situation is with Franco's or any of the
Like a
pizza
store.
places in Utica.
The thing with pizza places, they're very warm. And I
Just
just,
stay out of your bag. Right.
please, I have business up there, support, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Vanessa. That was a sweet speech.
Hey, Ron.
I won't even start another night. Is there any other issues anybody would like to address about anything? Then I guess we're good for tonight. Hope to see you all next month.